The Wake-Up Call by Anne Peckham. Wake up and do it quickly if you truly want to save this planet before it is too late. Wake up to the realization that you are part of the biggest network across this planet. You are part of a vast group of people who believe that every life is sacred and that it is not big or clever to solve differences in perspective through violence. You've learned that it is easier to live if you show everyone respect and share. You have discovered that if you really listen to each other's perspective without prejudice or judgment, you develop real and meaningful relationships with people that you know you can trust. You are aware that if human behaviour doesn't change rapidly, soon there will be nothing we can do to stop the irreversible climate change, and that alarms you. You wish that everyone could learn to live together in peace and have enough to eat and fresh water to drink. You've had enough of the senseless and pointless deaths of young and old men, women and children. You feel that it's obscene that there are people in America who are so fat that they can't even move, whilst children are starving to death in Africa. You want this world to be a safe and peaceful paradise for your children and your grandchildren and the grandchildren of everybody else to grow up and reach their full potential. Do you recognise yourself as a member of this group? I bet you do. What you need to know is that the power to achieve that is ours already, and it is now time for us to wake up and make it happen. Because when we all wake up to that vision, it will be. We've grown up with the idea that only the fittest survive. Surely you remember the survival of the fittest, winner takes it all, the first post. You get the picture. That is the kind of thinking that brought us to where we are today. It means that there are an awful lot of people who are not first past the post, and what a mess we are all in. How can we help to make the world a peaceful paradise when there are such terrible things happening in the world? Well, first thing to realise is there are millions and millions of people across the planet who want to live in a peaceful paradise where there is plenty for all and everyone has the opportunity to reach their full potential. Why wouldn't you want that? If you don't want that, why don't you? The second thing that you should know is that there is a very powerful network on this planet that is working very hard to convince us that we should be afraid of each other because we are different to each other in some way. It has been established for all of history of humanity, so it started long before any of us were born, which is why we are unaware of it, because this is the way it's always been. The human is basically an animal who has evolved somewhat until it has become a sentient being. If science has shown us anything, it is that animals are easily conditioned, and it is very evident that the human race has been well and truly conditioned. You only have to look at some of the followers of some of the world's huge religions to see some deeply conditioned people. They believe, without question, what they are told to believe, and they call it faith. There are, as I am talking to you, people who actually believe that the world is only 6,000 years old or so, and that humans lived alongside dinosaurs. These people say that they can prove this because it can be worked out from the Bible. They also say that they believe every word of the Bible because it is the Word of God. Well, did Jesus speak English then? The fact that each of the major religions sees itself as right and the others as either infidels or the axis of evil must make you realise that something has gone wrong with them. It doesn't matter how you look at it. It can only amount to, I'm right, you're wrong, which is bound to lead to a fight. It reminds me of the playground with kids taunting each other with, my dad's better than your dad. Well, that's always ended up in a fight too, which of course is what is happening all over the world today. When politicians and leaders choose to use their belief in God or Allah to justify their violent attacks on ordinary men, women and children, does that sit well with you? Does your God really condone this kind of behaviour? Are we not all children of the same God? We need to wake up to the divide and conquer mentality that has been perpetuated through the whole world, because until we realise that we have been set up, we will continue to be manipulated. Imagine if fear was wiped out of the human psyche. I doubt that you can. Don't imagine that fear is a healthy defence mechanism, because it's not. We have our instincts to keep us safe, so we don't need fear, because fear is debilitating and destroys lives in more ways than you could even imagine. Rather than look at the differences, which are really only differences in perception, let us realise that we are actually all very alike in most ways. We have so much in common with each other because first and foremost we are human beings, no matter what our skin colour or our religion. None of us had a choice about which cultural group we were born into. We just had to make the best of where we found ourselves, however we were able to. What is important to realise, though, is that within each and every one of us there is direct access to the most exciting and informative resource imaginable, and that is our own lives. The one thing that we all have in common underneath all of our illogical religious differences is that we are all firstly humans. Therefore, we have an inbuilt capacity to perceive what it must be like to be another, which means that we all have the inbuilt capacity for empathy. If empathy became the guiding emotion in the world rather than the fear that currently dominates it, then no one would ever want anyone else to be tortured or killed, because we would all know or have an idea what it felt like to be attacked in that way, and we could not bear the thought that anyone else, no matter who, could be made to suffer in any way. I'm going to be putting a next bit of the book, The Wake Up Call, onto YouTube and Vimeo in the coming weeks, or the coming days actually. So if you want to hear the rest of this book, then please tune in, because I will be there telling you, reading to you from my book, The Wake Up Call, which is available on Amazon. Okay, take care, bye.